Just 30 minutes before the feds took him into custody, Diddy could be seen laughing and mingling with fans in Central Park. At one point, he'd even meet with his...
I did not know about this.
At one point, he'd even meet with his lawyer on a park bench. It would appear Diddy was taking it all in. Pause. As he knew this may be the last time he sees the city he ran for the last 30 years. It would appear Diddy knew what was coming as he traveled back to New York City, checking into a hotel on September 5th in anticipation of the indictment.
What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. I am Donnie Savage, and I know we haven't done a video like this in a long time, YouTube. Nothing formal like this, but if you're new to the channel, I want to embrace you, tell you welcome, and bring you up to speed. So over here, we do reaction videos, commentary, a little bit of gaming. I like to announce we're throwing gaming in the mix too. I've been teasing that for a minute, but you'll see. But today, we gotta react to one of my favorite YouTubers, 1090 Jake. He's always covering the wildest criminal cases that I've ever seen. And it just so happens to be one in hip hop, in entertainment, in Hollywood, where I reside. Live in LA if you didn't know. So you know we gotta take a look at this. The diddler has finally been arrested. Puff Daddy, P Love, Combs, Sean John, Pop, yeah, all that. He finally got arrested and indicted on criminal charges with Constitution? I don't think I can say that. Hey, African. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, all right? And a laundry list of other charges that I'm sure 1090 Jake is gonna cover in this video. So without further ado, before I jump into this, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn that notification bell on for that algorithm. We're running it up. Oh yeah, one more thing before we hop into the video. I wanna thank y'all for 2,500 scrubs. I wanna thank y'all for 2,500 subs, all right? We moving on this channel, we're building this community, and I'm happy for you to be a part of it, all right? Let's run it.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
Combs is dangerous and poses an ongoing threat to the safety of the community.
When Combs didn't get his way, he was violent.
Oh, believe that.
He's going to fight this to the end. He's innocent. We knew this was coming. His spirits are good.
When you say innocent, do you wholeheartedly mean that?
He's going to fight this to the end. He's innocent. We knew this was coming. His spirits are good. He's confident. He's not guilty. He's innocent of these charges.
Damn, Diddy. Back at it again with the freak shit.
Back at it again.
On Monday, September 16th, 2024, the feds made their move, taking Sean Diddy Combs into federal custody inside the lobby of a Manhattan hotel. His arrest would come 10 months after multiple allegations of freak nasty abuse. Cassie would be the first to file a lawsuit accusing Diddy of savage beatings, rape, drugs.
Look, it's safe to say that Cassie opened up the floodgates. Like we don't get to this point without her coming forth and reliving through that drama and straight up telling Diddy, hey man, put your money where your mouth is. I got proof. Give me that bag. I'm not mad at it.
Accusing Diddy of savage beatings, rape, drugs, the list goes on. Well, the very next day after the lawsuit went viral, Diddy, Diddy's lawyer, and Cassie settled the lawsuit with the terms to be kept confidential.
24 hours
the speed
too.
Of how fast the lawsuit ended pretty much answered everyone's question as to did he do it. In the following months, both women and a man would come forward with more deviant allegations. Homeland Security would strike, conducting early morning raids on Diddy's Los Angeles and Miami mansions. Following the raids, a video of Cassie being assaulted by Diddy would take the internet by storm, as the lawsuit alleged Diddy paid.
If you're watching this video, I'm gonna assume you at least have seen that video. And if you haven't, just so you can get some context, I would advise you to do it, but be warned, it is kind of graphic. It's disturbing more than anything.
by Diddy would take the internet by storm, as the lawsuit alleged Diddy paid $50,000 at the time to make the video disappear.
Under the rug.
Howard University would revoke Diddy's honorary degree and terminate the scholarship program in his name, and the mayor of New York City would also request the key to the city be returned. It would appear Diddy knew what was coming, as he traveled back to New York City, checking into a hotel on September 5th in anticipation of the indictment. Just 30 minutes before the feds took him into custody, Diddy could be seen laughing and mingling with fans in Central Park. At one point, he'd even meet with his...
How did I miss this? Okay, this is the PR play. In the comments right now, man, let me know if you think this is a PR play, because it would be in his best interest to try to humanize himself as much as possible. I don't know if you saw the Miami clips. He's riding around on his bike. Maybe that's a new thing he just started, so people could see him and see that he's not a threat, whatever the case may be. I don't know. But this seems to be that same type of play. Like, hey man, I'm a nice guy. I'm just kicking it in Central Park with my people up here, walking up to me, showing me support, and I'm thankful to be here. I get it.
Mingling with fans in Central Park. At one point, he'd even meet with his lawyer on a park bench. It would appear Diddy was taking it all in. Pause. As he knew this may be the last time he sees the city he ran for the last 30 years. The unsealed indictment would reveal Diddy has been hit with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. The feds would allege that for decades, Diddy abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. To do so,
the $6 meal deal is here. It starts with Dunkin's legendary coffee, a toasty, melty bacon, egg, and...
Diddy relied on his employees, resources, and influence of the business empire he controlled.
Man, for all we know, there might be hundreds of people tied to this. Man, there's probably going to be people from 10, 15, 20 years ago that are going to show up and maybe be called to the stand as a witness. You know who I'm interested to see? I've been curious about his whereabouts for some time now, especially since this whole thing's been uncovered. Where has Farnsworth Bentley been? Why did he just fall off the face of the earth? It's been at least 15 years since I've probably heard anything of him. I'm not mad at him for taking the early hiatus, the early leave of work. That makes sense.
And influence of the business empire he controlled, creating a criminal enterprise that engaged in or attempted to engage in sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. In other words, Diddy used his power to get his freak on. Diddy engaged in a persistent and pervasive pattern of abuse toward women and other individuals. This abuse was at times verbal, emotional, physical,
I could never
sexual.
get with that.
As part of this abuse, Diddy manipulated women to participate in highly orchestrated, freaky activity with male sex workers. At times, Diddy or those working for him...
Hold on.
What the hell is even that?
Is that a flashback? Are we reliving moments right here? Did y'all see that? Let me take it back a couple frames. He was just with the camera on, pointed at the bed. This looks like a freak off moment. And I know this is just a music video. I understand that. But that might hit a little too close to home, if you ask me. You know the good thing about this? I don't think they'll try to use any of his lyrics against him, because he's from the old school. We sweep everything. Wait, excuse me. Not we. Not we. He or they, a lot of them swept a lot of that stuff under the rug, and they didn't tell on themselves. They were moving a lot more discreetly.
Orchestrated, freaky activity with male sex workers. At times, Diddy or those working for him would fly out women and sex workers to his location. He'd make sure they were willing to participate by supplying them drugs, controlling their careers, using financial support, and threatening to cut them off financially while using intimidation and lastly violence. Physical abuse by Diddy was recurrent and widely known. Since 2009, he'd assault women by striking, punching, dragging, kicking, and throwing things. These assaults were at times witnessed by other people, including in 2016 when he kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at Cassie before trying to bribe the hotel workers to remain silent. Diddy would even use his employees to carry out, facilitate, and cover up his abuse and freak nasty behavior.
Like, I know it's all fun and games, and we're making commentary on this, just like a bunch of other creators. That's what we do. But on a serious note, there's nothing cool about that at all. I don't condone it. I don't respect it. It's disgusting, in my personal opinion. The physical abuse on a woman is one thing, but to fully have control over their lives, you have their life. Oh, my palm kind of ashy. I might need some lotion. Yeah. But you got their life in the palm of your hand, and you do what you want when you please. When you so much as get ready to drop them or turn them all the way up, he had the ability to do that too.
And cover up his abuse and freak nasty behavior.
Freak nasty.
Members of the Diddy Enterprise were well involved in his dirty work and worked together to preserve, protect, promote, and enhance the power, reputation, and brand that is Sean Diddy Combs. See, Diddy's disciples wielded enough power and prestige to lure women into Diddy's orbit, often under the false pretense of a romantic relationship. These women were then forced or coerced into engaging in acts with male sex workers and what Diddy referred to as freak-offs.
I got people following me right now.
These freak-offs were elaborate and produced performances that Diddy arranged and directed while electronically recording and pleasuring himself. Domestic and international flights would be provided, and these freak-offs would occur regularly, sometimes lasting multiple days and involving multiple people. Diddy distributed a variety of drugs to keep his victims obedient and compliant. Sometimes unbeknownst to the victims, Diddy kept videos he filmed of victims engaging in such acts with sex workers, and when the freak-offs were done, Diddy would provide IV fluids to recover from the physical exertion and drug use.
What? Is that not crazy? For real, y'all. Come on, y'all. Come on, man. What did he say? What did he say? Partying for 3 or 4 days straight.
Look back on where I became.
Did you miss me though? For real, because it seems like a thing.
I miss
his birthday party,
Puff, man.
But I'm talking about for your birthday.
Huh?
Why won't you party with me for your birthday, man?
We partied for my birthday before. You came to my party.
No, but me and you ain't never really party. You know what I'm saying? Eyes.
I felt for them. Like, it was funny, yeah, but I felt for them. More so Fab than anything, because he was putting Fab on the spot with the partying thing, which is crazy. And just barebacking and getting your back bared, and yeah, man, the orgies, all that stuff, that's probably intense in so many ways.
IV fluids to recover from the physical exertion and drug use. Diddy's disciples would often
Cost can be a barrier when it comes to aesthetic treatments. I totally get that.
I believe you.
book hotel rooms, stocking them in advance with the required freak-off supply list. The list would include drugs, baby oil, lubricant, extra sheets, and lighting.
They found 1,000 bottles of baby oil too.
Law enforcement seized various freak-off supplies, including drugs, over 1,000 bottles of baby oil, and lube. They'd also seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 AR-15s with defaced serial numbers, one of which had a drum magazine. The feds are using 16 years worth of dirt to
is really embedded in Hollywood, especially the music industry.
Also seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 AR-15s with defaced serial numbers, one of which had a drum magazine. The feds are using 16 years worth of dirt to essentially bury Diddy inside of a federal prison. And in a desperate attempt, Diddy's defense team proposed to put him on home detention with a $50 million bond secured by his Miami mansion. But the feds would give 15 pages of reasons why
$50 mil.
The judge shouldn't allow it. The letter would highlight much of what the indictment states.
All right, what does it say? The government respectfully submits this letter in anticipation of the defendant's appearance before this court later today, and in support of the government's request for the defendant's detention pending trial. As set forth below, there is no condition or combination of conditions that will reasonably assure the appearance of the defendant as required and the safety of others in the community, not to mention the integrity of the proceedings. I might be a little remedial. Don't judge me. As reflected by the gravity of the charges in the indictment, the defendant is dangerous and poses an ongoing threat to the safety of the community. This sounds like the bail denial. If released, he remains a serious risk of flight, despite the conditions offered by his counsel. Most glaringly, the defendant also poses a significant risk of obstruction of justice. Indeed, and set forth below during the course of the charge. Conduct, the defendant has attempted to bribe security staff and threatened and interfered with witnesses to his criminal conduct. Oh, gee. Don't ask me why that just happened. Just know it happened.
The judge shouldn't allow it. The letter would highlight much of what the indictment states, including one freak off in 2000.
He's already tried to obstruct the government's investigation of this case, repeatedly contacting victims and witnesses and feeding them false narratives of events as described in detail below. There are simply no conditions that would ensure that the defendant's efforts to obstruct and tamper with the witnesses will stop. The defendant therefore cannot overcome the statutory presumption in favor of detention, and the court should order him detained. Yeah, you gonna have to get down with the get down and sit down and bend down and down.
Indictment states, including one freak off in 2012, which Diddy had to pay $46,000 to cover the damages done to a New York penthouse.
What are you doing?
In 2011, Diddy and a conspirator kidnapped an individual at gunpoint to facilitate breaking into and entering the residence of someone else. 2 weeks later, Diddy's disciples set fire to that person's car by slicing open the convertible top and dropping a Molotov cocktail inside the
That's
interior.
Kid Cudi.
Since 2008, allegations of Diddy's violence against women has been reported in the public media, but more recently, there has been an outpouring of allegations dating back to the 90s. The weapons recovered inside of Diddy's home are also a federal concern. While 6 legal weapons were found stored in safes, 3 AR-15s were found with defaced serial numbers, making them very illegal.
Two of the 3 defaced AR-15s were found in the defendant's Miami bedroom closet, stored broken down in parts along with magazines that were loaded with ammunition as depicted below. One of the AR-15s had a 10-round magazine loaded with 10 rounds of large caliber. Oh, he got the 223s. He got the 223 ammunition. While the second AR-15 had a 30-round magazine loaded with 19 rounds. My man was war ready. For what war, I don't know. Yeah, like, I know everybody be joking, including myself, but we talking about somebody that's really with the shits.
A drum magazine loaded with 59 rounds of .223 ammo was found in his Los Angeles mansion, where high-capacity magazines are very illegal. To make a long story short, the feds said Diddy's dangerous, has a shitload of money, and is definitely a flight risk, so the judge denied his bail. As of now, Diddy resides in a not-so-luxury concrete cell within MDC
I know
Brooklyn,
he hated.
a federal facility that holds over...
I know it, and look, I ain't praying on nobody's downfall, but man, the things that you've been accused of, we gotta see. We gotta see what type of time you've been on, man. But I know his heart sank as soon as his bail got denied. You know, it makes sense that he was out there kicking it in Central Park. That moment earlier in the video that 1090J hit on, with him just looking at the city that he once conquered, that makes sense. He's just taking it all in. No Diddy.
Judge denied his bail. As of now, Diddy resides in a not-so-luxury concrete cell within MDC Brooklyn, a federal facility that holds over 1,700 inmates of all calibers and has been home to many big names, from rappers like 6ix9ine to mob boss John Gotti. It can be expected that a ton of new information will keep coming out regarding this case, possibly more charges, and even more arrests. It's also likely that Diddy may have some information he's willing to share in order to secure his freedom.
You better believe
So while the industry has turned their backs on him, many may be sweating, knowing what they did in Diddy's darkness is about to come to light.
You better believe Hollywood is clutching its pearls right now. Imagine getting called to the stand to have to go back in time and talk about your experience and what you saw. In that moment, how truthful do you get? Do you tell the whole truth? Or do you try to play it off like you ain't seen nothing? That's...
While the industry has turned their backs on him, many may be sweating, knowing what they did in Diddy's darkness is about to come to light. And as for Diddy, he's facing a minimum 15 years and up to life in federal prison. Now, I think it's safe to say we all expected this would happen. We just didn't know when. The fact that he only has 3 counts is somewhat surprising. I thought it would have been more because all the allegations against him are so crazy and in-depth. But racketeering is pretty much bundling up everything into one charge. At the end of the day, he has 3 charges. He's facing 15 years minimum up to life. And the way the feds work is you're either gonna tell on somebody or you're gonna get fucked. Now,
hey, you heard it first. The way the feds work, and don't quote me on this, but I know the percentage is pretty high. I want to say they have a 95 or 98% conviction rate. Yeah, I don't think he has a choice but to try to cop a deal. In order to cop a deal, the news got to be spilled. And if the news got to be spilled at will, I really wasn't going anywhere with that. Scratch that. That didn't happen.
Feds work is you're either going to tell on somebody or you're going to get fucked. Now, the type of case he has, anything sexual, when you get locked up, it's frowned upon to the point that you can be a target. But that's more so for people that aren't so rich and aren't so famous. I'm not sure how it would play out for him because he has money to sway the crowd. But this is the thing. They may also come for the money. They may come for his properties.
Extortion.
They may come for everything. And if they're able to take away his means of defense and making things happen, they're taking away his power, which is going to reduce him from a music mogul to a famous person with not so much money. But what I think is going to happen and what I know is going to come to light is a lot more names.
Yeah.
A lot more people.
For sure.
Possibly more arrests, a lot of people falling back, and you know, Diddy has a lot of information on people.
if all these allegations have come out now, and we're in a digital age, so the things that we've seen on camera, boom, we've seen it in 4K, clear as day. What about the times where there were no cameras available, where you can get that person behind closed doors in a locked room by themselves, extremely vulnerable and terrified?
This shit's kind of similar to the Epstein shit. When
Yeah,
you were bringing
very
people
close
to the island, except Diddy was doing this shit over here. You're flying people through, you're recording them, you're giving them drugs, whatever. Now Diddy, his life is on the line, and we're gonna see how desperate he gets. We're gonna see how desperate other people get. We don't know how deep this is gonna go, and this is only the beginning. Guarantee it won't be the last video I make on it, as the updates are just gonna come rolling in. But let me know y'all's thoughts and comments in the comment section. It's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all, or y'all rocking with me.
Yo, appreciate you for tuning in and watching the video. It's Camp Savage and nothing. Also, if you haven't noticed, I've been uploading my Twitch highlights in the playlist, Twitch highlights on the channel as well. So if you ever missed a live stream, you can feel free to go there and watch the playback. I typically go live on Mondays and Tuesdays at 11:30 PST. That's AM, by the way. Let me throw that in there. What is that EST? That's 2:30 p.m. EST. I always forget that. All right? If you don't want to miss a live, make sure you follow me over there on Twitch. What's your take on this case? Do you think Diddy's going to have to sit down for that entire time? If he's convicted, do you think he's going to fold and tell on some people? Do you think some people are going to fold and tell on him? I would love your input. Make sure you drop it in the comments below. Make sure you check out this video right here where I react to 25 men shooting their shot at one lovely lady. Now, who will she choose? Hit that video to find out. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one.